Like,
No, I thought that.
and this was not just about stand-up. It was about everything.
It was mostly stand-up.
No one could have predicted the bizarre feud that erupted between two figures who've carved their own distinct paths in the public eye. Soulja Boy, the on and off rapper who never shies away from controversy, and Marlon Wayans, the comedian whose wit has thrilled fans for decades. They've been flinging insults left and right, digging deep into personal territory most celebrities would avoid. Everything spiraled out of control after a single offhand remark, and once feelings got hurt, there was no turning back. Both men built their careers by entertaining crowds, but this time, their brand of entertainment took a darker turn. No comedic sketch or flashy rap single could compare to the drama unfolding on social media. Their spat quickly went from petty jokes to deeply personal attacks, attracting an onslaught of reactions from fans and critics alike. But just when it seemed they were out of ammunition, each side found an even more shocking way to keep the drama going. But it all started with one interview and a single cutting comment, one that would push Soulja Boy to the brink and unleash a fiery social media storm. Wait until you hear how a playful jab turned into a war of words. Marlon Wayans thought he was doing a routine interview. Things were casual, the vibe was lighthearted, and the conversation flowed from politics to pop culture with relative ease. Then someone asked about Soulja Boy performing at a polarizing political event, hinting at how celebrities who associated with controversial figures might be canceled. Marlon's off-the-cuff response. He joked that Soulja Boy had been irrelevant for a while and teased that no one cared enough to cancel him.
Okay. Omar was my best friend. Is my best friend. Omar Epps, and him, and my other best friend, Mitchell, were doing Juice.
Okay.
With Tupac. Okay. So I was come up from Howard to come to the set to hang out with them. So I met Pac that way.
Okay.
Then, when I moved to LA, me and Jada Pinkett became great friends.
Okay.
Jada Pinkett and Tupac went to the same school together. Right. So we had like this clique of performing arts high school ghetto kids.
To most people, it sounded like typical comedic banter, but to Soulja Boy, who's famously sensitive about people questioning his relevance, it felt like a personal attack. In his eyes, Marlon wasn't just insulting his career, he was publicly challenging his legitimacy as an artist. And if there's one thing Soulja Boy doesn't tolerate, it's being called washed up by anyone. What began as a mild jab quickly mutated into a full-blown public brawl that no one saw coming. As soon as Soulja Boy saw the clip, he unleashed a torrent of vitriol online, and he didn't spare a single insult. Brace yourself for the jaw-dropping meltdown that stunned even his own fans. The moment Soulja Boy caught wind of Marlon's comment, he abandoned any semblance of tact and fired off a series of explosive tweets. He hurled censored profanity, calling Marlon everything from washed-up comedian to sellout. Each message got more heated, with Soulja labeling Marlon's career a desperate grasp at fame, and even implying that Marlon gained success by pandering to higher-ups. Then came the live streams. Soulja Boy went live, ranting about everything from Marlon's comedic style to the roles he'd taken in various movies. His tone grew increasingly hostile, dragging in random accusations that had nothing to do with the original joke. He scorched Marlon for dressing in costume in past comedic sketches and roles, twisting these performances into proof that Marlon was somehow sus.
I feel like if I was a celebrity and someone called me not relevant enough to even cancel, I just walk into the woods and never return. And Soulja Boy thought he was going to get Marlon by calling his son a whole bunch of slurs, but all he did was get pressed out again and permanently ruin his reputation. The clownery came back to bite any who y'all drop your thoughts about this in the comments. Then check out this next video.
Observers noted that Soulja Boy seemed fueled by a desire to shock people into paying attention again, his words far harsher than any typical celebrity clapback. But once he crossed the line into family territory, the situation became even more personal. The next twist would expose a deeper layer to this feud, one involving Marlon's child and Soulja's relentless quest to offend. As if the insults weren't ugly enough, Soulja Boy decided to take aim at Marlon's family. He lashed out at Marlon's child, child who had recently transitioned from female to male, using the situation as a weapon against the comedian's reputation and parenting. In a few stark sentences, Soulja Boy sent shockwaves through social media by dissing Marlon's acceptance of his transgender son. It was a level of cruelty no one expected, turning a petty celebrity feud into a deeply personal attack. Marlon, known for keeping his cool in most public disputes, wasted no time firing back. He ridiculed Soulja's career and pointedly reminded everyone that Soulja Boy's hits haven't topped charts since the late 2000s. Some fans found Marlon's comebacks entertaining, while others felt the feud was getting too toxic. But there was no question about one thing: once you involve someone's child, especially in a derogatory way, you've ventured beyond the realms of acceptable social media sparring.
I actually went to my high school reunion. It was like our 25th high school reunion. And I didn't know I looked young until I went to the reunion. And people was coming up to me going, "Hey, Marlon, you was in my class." I was like, "Was you the teacher?" You're retired now, right?
Things took a shocking turn when people began accusing Soulja Boy of hypocrisy. Rumors from his own past began to resurface, painting him in a scandalous light that made his jabs at Marlon seem more than a little two-faced. Before long, observers started pointing out the hypocrisy in Soulja Boy's homophobic insinuations. For years, rumors have circulated that Soulja Boy himself might be on the DL. These whispers range from suspicious photos he took with other male artists to allegations that he hooked up with certain social media personalities. In one particularly messy moment, a blogger with a reputation for stirring the pot aired interviews with individuals who claimed Soulja was secretly hooking up with men, fueling online chatter like wildfire. Every time these rumors surface, Soulja Boy categorically denies them. He attacks anyone who dares to hint he's anything but heterosexual. Yet the stories persist, leaving fans wondering why he's so adamant about lobbing anti-LGBTQ remarks at Marlon's family when he's never fully addressed the swirling speculations about his own life. The irony wasn't lost on the public, who began dragging Soulja's credibility through the mud all over again. But the public's reactions only intensified after both men doubled down, each claiming to have dirt on the other's personal life. It was the point of no return, and the chaos only escalated from there. As the feud continued, Twitter erupted in disbelief, with hashtags trending for hours. Some people took Marlon's side, praising him for defending his child against Soulja's transphobic jabs.
My son last year got sick. He had a bone infection, osteomyelitis. And at first I didn't understand what the hell it was, but you stay in the hospital for like a month, and before you know it, you talking more than the doctors is. He has osteomyelitis, which is actually a bone infection that goes inside your vein. So what happened was his mom, she had his way of dealing with him, and I had my way. So she was like, let's make sure everything is clean, let's do this. And I'm just like, let's have a party. That's what it is. I said, he's depressed. The boy's sitting here, he laid up for at least a month and a half. And my son was like depressed. And I said, listen, man, I said, this is something that God did this.
Others leaned toward Soulja Boy, arguing that Marlon had started the fight by belittling Soulja's relevance. However, most onlookers seemed content to munch on popcorn and watch the spectacle unfold, delighting in the ceaseless exchange of cruel comebacks. Memes popped up overnight, parodying the two men's insults. One viral post showed a collage of Soulja Boy's infamous tweet rants layered with screenshots of Marlon in comedic roles. Another joked, if Soulja Boy can't be canceled for these comments, he must be living on borrowed time anyway. While the entertainment factor was high, there was also a sense of discomfort among viewers who felt the fight had gone from comedic to disturbing, especially once families were dragged into it. Still, the war of words wasn't confined to just social media. Both camps started to wonder if there might be real-world consequences, like lost endorsements, fan backlash, or even legal action, if the feud got any nastier. When celebrity fights reach this level, sponsors and business partners often take notice. Insults laced with homophobia or transphobia can lead to serious backlash, potentially scaring away brands that value inclusivity and good public image. Some of Soulja Boy's longtime fans pointed out that he's only sabotaging himself if he continues down this path. After all, he's already had trouble recapturing the commercial success he enjoyed when he first exploded onto the scene. Marlon Wayans, meanwhile, has stood by his child publicly, often emphasizing love and acceptance. While his supporters praised him for defending his family, others viewers worried that a protracted feud with Soulja Boy might harm his comedic brand. After all, the Wayans name is associated with comedy classics. An extended public brawl could overshadow the humor and tarnish his inclusive message.
Shorty wasn't written because I was filming Dungeons and Dragons and Requiem. So they left my character kind of out while they was putting together the movie. And so Keenan was like, every time I come to set, okay, so what's Shorty gonna do today? And I'd be like, wait, what do you mean? You wasn't here, we didn't write your character like that. So you tell me what he's gonna do. Go into my trailer and I come back with pages.
Yet, in the eyes of many, Marlon's willingness to defend his child's identity might actually strengthen his image as a caring father. No matter how it plays out from here, both men appear unwilling to back down. The stage is set for an even more explosive final act, where any buried secrets or resentments might see the light of day. As the dust continues to swirl, people are asking if there's any path to reconciliation. In the world of celebrities, anything is possible. One well-timed PR statement or a forced sit-down at a talk show can sometimes patch up even the ugliest fights. But this feud feels different. Dragging a child's transition and alleged hidden lifestyles into the open isn't your average showbiz quarrel. If Soulja Boy has one trademark, it's that he thrives on controversy. Some believe he's fueling this feud simply to snatch the limelight again. Marlon, on the other hand, is known for comedic comebacks, but rarely stoops to truly vicious territory. Will they find a middle ground, or is this the kind of beef that sours any hope of civility? Only time will tell if either star tries to mend fences, or if this meltdown cements their mutual hatred for years to come. Before any truce can be found, the conversation is shifting to deeper questions. Is the cost of such public feuding ever worth it, or is this just another example of how fame can twist simple disagreements into epic showdowns? At this point, the Soulja Boy Marlon Wayans feud has become more than a simple exchange of insults.
No, I thought that
And this was not
was
just about
scared.
stand-up, it was about everything?
it was mostly stand-up.
Okay.
It was mostly the art. Like in life, I don't have a lot of I got certain hangups or whatever, but like when it comes to like anxiety like that, there's bouts. So stand-up was one. Then the anxiety of being Keenan and Damon's little brother and and then when me and Sean had our show, what I've learned was to take my anxiety and turn it into excitement.
It's a tangled blend of old wounds, fresh allegations, and pointed jabs that cut deeper than most celebrity beefs. Soulja Boy's meltdown revealed how sensitive he is about his standing in the industry, while Marlon's vigorous defense of his family highlighted that some lines should never be crossed. Where do they go from here? It's hard to say. In the court of public opinion, both men have lost some credibility. Soulja Boy's blatant homophobia has reminded people of the long-standing rumors that he's been trying to bury, and Marlon's unfiltered comebacks have shown a harsher side few expected to see. Perhaps this is just another passing storm, destined to vanish with the next viral headline. Or maybe in the end, the only real takeaway is how quickly the modern spotlight can turn playful chatter into a brutal war. Keep your eyes peeled, because if history's any indication, neither Soulja Boy nor Marlon Wayans is gonna let this end quietly.